It's now time for a look through the press with Diptyque Laurent. Dipty, lots of reactions in the Brazilian press today to those latest threats of a 50% tariff.
Yeah, that's right. Those tariff threats on Brazilian products, in part retaliation for the criminal case against former President Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil, a Trump ally as well. In response to those threats, the current Brazilian President Lula said that, reminded the U.S. that Brazil is first and foremost a sovereign nation and threatened reciprocal measures in turn. That's what O Globo here, a Brazilian daily, reports. And in its coverage, the Rio de Janeiro Daily slams what it calls the U.S.'s explicit blackmail in favor of Bolsonaro's impunity. He's, of course, facing justice for having conspired to stay in power during right after the 2022 presidential election, which he lost, by commandeering a January 6-style presidential uprising. Now, from another paper, Folha de Sao Paulo, it's also talking about these tariffs on its front page, as you see here, Trump's imposing of 50% tariffs. And in its coverage today on its website, it says that in the strongly worded opinion piece, that there's only one person responsible for this. It's Jair Bolsonaro. The paper surmising that Trump's letter appears to have been written by Eduardo Bolsonaro, one of Jair Bolsonaro's children, or, I quote, one of the patriots who fled Brazil for Disney World to engineer U.S. foreign intervention in Brazil's internal affairs.
All right, well, Donald Trump, as usual, omnipresent in the press. He also welcomed five leaders from West Africa on Wednesday.
That meeting with leaders of Senegal, Mauritania, Guinea-Bissau, Gabon, and Liberia. It's garnering a lot of attention in the African press today. Notably, that meeting hailed a pivot in U.S.-African diplomacy away from aid and towards trade, something that this paper, Wakatsero, which is from Burkina Faso, is looking at in this article here. The paper is thrilled with what it calls the Trump method, which it says leaves no place for empty words. And the paper's editors do, however, offer a gentle reminder to Donald Trump. You'll remember there was that cringe moment when he congratulated the Liberian president for his excellent English. The paper reminding Donald Trump that English is the official language of Liberia, a country founded by freed American slaves. Nonetheless, as you see here, it says, "Thank you, Tonton Trump. Thank you, Uncle Trump," noting that maybe next time Donald Trump could be a little less patronizing. However, that is also a criticism, it says, that's often been leveled against the French president, Emmanuel Macron, as well.
Well, one of the items on Trump's agenda is convincing the leaders to accept migrants deported by the U.S. whose countries of origin refuse to take them back.
Yeah, that's right. They're called the so-called third country migrants. Now, the Liberian paper, New Republic, is talking about this on its front page. And in its coverage here, this is what the U.S. wants. They want more African countries to accept migrants who are deported from the U.S. but whose country of origin cannot or will not take them back. For the moment, the New Republic says it's unclear if the five African leaders present yesterday have agreed to this. However, it does indicate an overlap, it says, between the U.S.'s aggressive campaign of deportations and its foreign policies. In any case, if leaders are looking to ingratiate themselves with Donald Trump, there is a way in, and this is what the Wall Street Journal looks at today, nominating him for a Nobel Peace Prize, or at least talking about him being a potential candidate for the Nobel Peace Prize. After Pakistan and Israel, the African leaders at the White House said they were open to the idea of Donald Trump being nominated for a peace prize. The Senegalese president saying it would be deserved. As they say, flattery will get you everywhere with Donald Trump. Karen.
Okay, well, moving on now. You've got an article from Gizmodo about an AI search startup's new web browser that could fundamentally, transform how we use the internet.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. So it's a bit complicated to explain, but I'll try my best. But Gizmodo basically says it could signal the death knell of the internet as we know it today. As you know, as everyone knows, the internet is based on clicks. We click to search, we click to pay, we click, and this is what drives up ad revenue, and this is the basis of of Google Chrome, for instance, a web browser's business model. Now, on Wednesday, the AI search startup Perplexity launched Comet. Now, Comet is a web browser that runs on AI. It will essentially end the whole process of clicking. Instead of clicks, it's like your second brain. It's capable of researching, comparing options, paying, briefing you for the day, analyzing information, all this at your behest. And now Comet is coming for Google Chrome, Gizmodo says. Instead of you entering every command with a click, the browser will anticipate your needs and in the process blow up the very lucrative model that Google has established. It's absolutely fascinating and absolutely scary too.
Yeah, let's end with something a little less scary then. A German hospital is operating on teddy bears to show children that doctors aren't frightening.
Yeah, that's right. Every year for a couple of days around this period of time, this clinic called the Darmstadt Clinic in Western Germany, the teaching hospital there becomes a triage center for sick and injured cuddly toys. Now, some 600 preschoolers were invited so student doctors could teach them all about the human body and also convince them that doctors and hospitals are not so scary. They were even advised to bring in their own cuddly toys for treatment. They got to dress up in scrubs and masks and then watch medical students, as you see here, operating on these cuddly toys, applying bandages, taking x-rays, measuring the toy's temperature. It looks here like they might have been doing some kind of open heart surgery on this teddy bear. Very cute stuff, all for a good cause. I dare say there might be some adults who might also want to be part of this too.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Diptyque Laurent, thank you very much for that look at the papers. Thanks to you.